Hello, this is Rajeshri Subramanian. In this section, I'm going to explain about the project 8 Machine Learning for Predictive Analysis. So basically, this project is going to do the predicting customer, reducing the monthly churn by identifying the high risk customer well in advance. So the project is using the data set which is coming from the telecom data. So this telecom data is having a detail about the customers like customer ID, monthly revenue, monthly menu, total recurring charge, and all other details. And it is also has a detail about like whether the customer is exit the particular carrier or not. So that detail also is mentioned. So basically this is a classification problem where the customer is actually leave the telecom company or not is actually mentioned in the churn um, uh, churn column. If it is mentioned as 1 means if it is mentioned as yes means the customer is left the telecom company. If it is mentioned as no means the customer is still using the same carrier. So you can see that the churn, this is my dependent variable, all others are independent variable. The churn is actually taking only taking uh, two values, either yes or no. When churn is yes means the customer is left the telecom company. If no means the customer is still present in the telecom company. So the objective of the project is to do the predictive analysis whether the customer can leave the telecom company or not well in advance, by analyzing the training data set and predicting the detail in the prediction data set. The telecom data is basically we are provided with the two data set. One data set is used for training the model, create a model and train the model. Another data is for prediction. So the first data set is telecom data, which is having a different variables also mentioned, yes or no. It is having around some 51 it's having around some 51,000 records. The prediction data set is having a same number of columns, but the churn values are mentioned. So the objective of the project is to identify that the customer can leave the telecom data or not. So basically we have to predict around some 20,000 prediction 20,000 record, 20,000 customer 20,000 customer. So we need to find out like whether the customer can leave the telecom data or telecom company or not based on the model prediction. As I said that dependent variable is yes or no, which is nothing but like so we have to use a classification. It is considered as a classification problem. So we are planning to use two model. One is using a logistic regression, another one is using a random forest. So and then we have to compare that which one is a better model by using the AAOC curve and accuracy and classification matrix. For all comparing all these details, we'll find out like which model is best suited for this problem. So then after we find the model, we are planning to use a model on the prediction data set and then find that whether the customer is leave the telecom company or not. We're just going to mention yes or no. Okay. It's better to give like this. Okay, I'll run one by one. So in this project, instead of like handling the prediction data set and the training data set separately, we are cleaning up the data, both the data same time, because we are facing the issue about like the when you are creating a dummy variables, the prediction data set dummy variables are actually lesser than the um, higher than the training data set dummy variable, and also we are facing some other issues. So that's why I just doing the cleaning up everything is simultaneously. simultaneously to avoid any issues. So basically, first thing is like we are importing all the packages, then we are reading the training data set as well as the prediction data set. Custody of data frame is having a training data set, prediction data set is present in the PRDDF data set. Then we are seeing that 51,000 records are present with 58 columns. So we just mentioned some of, we can able to see the first 5 records here. Then we are just seeing that describing the details. So we can see that the standard deviation minimum 25%, 50% minimum, maximum, mean, and count of each and every column here. So then what we have to do is like we have to find out like if there is any duplicate customer is present in the training as well as the prediction data set. So there is nothing is present. Then we are just saying that all the columns, is it the same set of columns? Yes, it's the same set of columns. Then we are checking that how the distribution of dependent variables in the training data set. When you are seeing that that is 36 and 14, which means that 3/4 of 70% is actually retained, is present, actually not leaving the telecom company. Only 1/4 of the customers are left the telecom company as per the as per the training data set. So you can see that 71% is still actually using the same carrier, 28% are actually left. So what we have to do is first thing we have to see that any customer is actually having a monthly revenue 0, which means that is actually using carrier but not paying you are not getting any kind of like a revenue from the customer. So it's better to drop the customer, right? So that's what we are doing. We're just finding out that how many customers are actually monthly revenue 0. 6 customers monthly revenues are 0. So whenever the monthly revenues are 0, then which means that we are actually a monthly revenue was not even using, and monthly revenues are 0, we are dropping of the we are checking it. Then we are trying to find out how many columns or how many cells are having a missing values. So according to this one, customer is none, we are able to find out like a percentage change when it's 30, almost like a less than age HH1, age HH2 is having a 1% of missing value. So when you are actually summing up, it is less than 5%. So it is better to drop the row itself to avoid the issues. So we are dropping it now. After dropping it, the number of records is reduced from 50,162 to 4,90,078. Then we are actually saying that is there is any relationship between yeah, we are trying to find out any kind of like outliers are present by just seeing the unit number, direct assistant calls. There is no, we have found out like some outliers are present. So this outliers, like what we are doing is like we are actually only retaining the 95%, another 99% of the data. The 1% we are going to remove it. That's what we are doing it here, filtering only the custom data with the 99% of the value. Then after it is removing, this is the box plot. Then we are trying to find out the correlation between the monthly revenue and average minutes. Average minutes. So this scatter diagram shows that what is the relationship between these two variables. So these two variables say that monthly revenue and average minutes is a positive correlation. Whenever a monthly average minutes increases, monthly revenue also increases. It has very less number of outliers. Then does have a customer have an active subscriber lead to the low monthly revenue? Is it any like a number of active subscribers lead to the low monthly revenue? So what we are doing is like we are creating a categorical plot based on the active subscription and monthly revenue. According to the categorization plot, okay, according to the categorization plot, when the number of active subscription increases, monthly revenues also decreases. So then we are trying to find out if there is any kind of relationship between the churn rate and credit rating. So when you are seeing that the IS rating 30 per, if you say that credit rating is 3 means, 16 persons are actually retained, 30% of the customer left the telecom company. Then it is the credit rating is 2, 70% customers are actually retained, 29% customers are actually left the company. So across this one, almost like 70% of the customer, irrespective of whatever the whatever the credit score, around some 70 to 80% of the customers are retained, 20 to 30% of the customers are left the company. So when you in this way, that this is actually doing it in the vertical way, the second crash table is doing it in horizontal way. So how many customers are left when it is coming to the credit score rating? So when you're seeing that one, 39% of customers credit score 39%. So out of 100 people, 39 people 32 people leaved is actually having a credit score of 2. Okay, 39 people. So 39% of the people having a credit, if it's like 100 people are left the telecom company, means 39 people are actually having a credit score of 2. So that's what the relationship it shows. Then we are creating some additional features. Basically the additional feature is nothing but like we are creating a percentage of all the calls based on the minutes, monthly minutes. So number of roaming calls divided by monthly minutes, number of roaming call minutes divided by monthly minutes, number of drop call limits divided by monthly limits, number of all these things, receive call minutes divided by monthly limits. So all the percentage we are calculating, and that added as a separate as a new features in the existing definition file. So what we are doing is, like as I said previously, instead of like doing cleaning up the data separately for the prediction data frame, we are doing it while doing it for the training data set. So when I'm adding a feature for the training data set, I'm adding a feature for the prediction data set. Then we are trying to find out we are trying to like separating the columns, categorical and non-categorical or continuous columns. So categorical columns, we consider that a categorical column means the number of unique values should be less than 20. If it is less than 20 means it would be considered as a categorical column. If it is more than 20 means it would be considered as a continuous column. That is what this particular function is doing. So while doing this calculation, we are not considering the CHAN, customer ID and service area, because customer ID and customer ID is unique, so definitely it would be more than 20, and service area is also more than 20. So CHAN is a different variable, so we are leaving these 3 columns. So other columns are actually grouped into either categorical column or continuous column. So then what we are doing is, like we are trying to find out what are the category columns are imported based on the choice to contingency matrix. So based on that one, we are passing the categorical column and then try to find out what are all the imported columns, imported categorical columns. So from this one, out of 30 category column, 18 imported category columns, 18 columns are considered as imported one. So now coming to here, so as I said, like previously, the CHAN value is actually not properly aligned. So 1/4 of is only is mentioned as yes, what 3/4 of is mentioned as no. That is actually we are planning to sampling it in such a way that 50% would be yes, 50% no. That would be handled separate, handle after this one. So first now we are replacing the yes or no value with the 1 and 0 in the CHAN column. So that's what we are doing it. After this one, then we are creating a separate we are just divide the two data frame as a 2 data frame, class 0 data frame, class 1 data frame. Class 0 data frame is having class 0 data frame is having where the CHAN values are no, where the CHAN is no or the CHAN is equal to 0. Class 1 data frames where the CHAN is equal to 1 or CHAN is yes. So now it is then. Now we are doing a sampling in such way that both are having a number of records are similar. So if you see that after we are doing a over sampling, then you will see that number of records in the class 0 and class 1 is same. After the number of samplings are same, then we are merging it and then creating a new data set. that is the new data set, the customer, we put it in the custom data frame. This is nothing but the train data frame. So now the train data frame is having a 50% value, chan values 1 for 50% of the records, chan value 0 for the 50% of the record. So we are doing a oversampling to avoid any issues with uh, any issues with left tail or right tail. So basically, if it is like if it is actually having a highest number of values in one side of categorical, means automatically the prediction is also actually inclined toward that categorical value instead of like other one. So that's why we are trying to do the oversampling and make sure that 50% having say 50% is having a one value and 50% having another value. Then we are trying to drop the unwanted columns. The current number of columns are 70. What we are trying to drop, trying to find out the column to be dropped based on the imported categorical variables. So basically, categorical variable is 30 columns away, imported categorical variable is actually 18 columns. So we need to drop 12 columns which are not imported. So first thing is we are trying to find out the column which has to be dropped. So we try to find out the columns to be dropped. So these 12 columns are not imported, 12 category columns are not imported, and then these 18 columns are important columns. So what we are doing is, first thing is we are dropping a customer ID and chan. Then we are dropping a column to be dropped, the unimported categorical columns are dropped after that one. So as I said, like we are doing it at simultaneously, we are doing it in the train data set as well as the prediction data set at the same time. Then we are also dropping the service area. Now when you are seeing that customer train data set is having a 69,046 record with having a 55 columns, prediction data set is also having having the same number of columns, 55 columns, and 20,000 data record set, 20,000 record. Then we are doing a scaling the variables. So then we have to do the scale the continuous variables, so that everything would be like similar. So say we are using a standard scaler. So we are applying a standard scaler. So we are able to apply the standard scaler directly in the training data set, but in the prediction data set there are some infinite values are present, which is actually dropped, which is actually converted into not applicable. Then it is then after that rows is dropped out. So that's what we are doing it here. After the rows are dropped out, then we are applying a scalar function for the prediction data set also. So now you can able to see that after the scalar after we apply the future scaling for the train data set as well as the prediction data set, number of columns still it's 55, but as like I said, like we are dropping infinite variables, infinite value, any cells having an infinite value, that complete rows are removed in the prediction data set. So now it is actually 19,256 prediction data sets are there. Then what we are doing is coming here. So as I said, like if I am doing getting a dummy value using only the training data set, the number of dummies created are less compared to the prediction data set, which means that maybe some columns having 12 options, 12 categorical options present in, and maybe it is 20 in prediction data set. To avoid this issue, we just first what we are doing is we are concatenating the train and the prediction data set first, so which is having 88,000 record. Then we creating a dummy, we process that one, we get the dummies. Now after that we separated it, we are separating customer data frame separately, prediction data frame separately. Okay, now we separated it. After separated, you can able to see that this data frame is actually having a training data set, prediction data frame is having having it to 90,256 rows. So after this one, the training data set is actually test and trained data sets. It is actually test and train data set. It is split up as a train and test data set. It's basically 30% is used for testing and 70% is for training the model. So that's what we are doing it here. Then coming here, we are creating a logistic regression model. Then we are model.fit is actually applying the model on the trained data set by passing the dependent variables as well as independent variable as well as a dependent variable. Y-train is actually having a churn value, churn information, which is nothing but 0 or 1. X-train is having all other variables. The variables in the X-trains are actually, the continuous variables are actually scaled, and the category variables are actually converted using the PD kit dummies. Okay, then what we are doing is, then we are trying to predict the output in the trained data set, as well as we are trying to predict the test output in the test output. So basically this is nothing but it's having a probability of so that if it is having a 0.7 probability means it is actually inclined towards 1. If it's having a 0.3 means it's inclined towards 0 as a churn value. So then we are trying to find out efficient cutoff. So we have to find out like which cutoff. So basically 0.5 is if it is like a probability is greater than 0.5 means the churn value is 1. If a probability is less than 0.5 is the churn value is 0. So instead of doing that way, we have to find out which is actually efficient cutoff. So to do that one, we are calculating the F1 score as well as the cutoff value. For F1 we are calculating the F1 score for each and every cutoff value starting from 0.0 to 1.0. So we are calculating using this efficient cutoff method, and then we are plotting the diagram. So when you are seeing the diagram after 0.4, the F1 score is getting reduced. So which means that 0.4 is the efficient cutoff for this model. So using that one, we are actually creating a classes. If it is greater than 0.4 means the churn value is 1. If it is less than 0.4 means the churn value is 0. Okay, which means that if it is a probability is 0.4 means the customer less than 0.4 customer can be retained. If it is a probability is greater than 0.4 means the customer would be leave the telecom company. So then we are actually creating the confusion matrix using the true label and with the predicted label. Y-test is the true label, logistic predicted scale is the logic and predicted scale is a predicted label. So when you are actually constructing the confusion matrix, so we are seeing that 1 1 0 0 true label is 0 but predicted label is 1. So when you're seeing this one, this is actually 8118 is high, so which means that even though the customer 8180 customer don't leave the telecom company, but model is predicting that they can leave they can actually leave the telecom company. So it's almost like saying that most of the people will leave the telecom company. So it's means that one predicted label 1 is actually having highest number here. It's saying that almost like 80% of the people would leave the telecom company. That's what this model is predicting. So then we are calculating the precision and recall and F1 score. When we are saying that it is almost like only 50% accuracy are there in most of the cases, then we are calculating the Gini and accuracy core, ROC, AAC core. All the cores are calculated. Then we are going to work on the random forest classifier. So we are creating a random forest model. Then we are actually predicting the output in the trained data set as well as the test data set. Then we are calculating trying to find out the efficient cutoff score. When actually plotting the efficient cutoff score, we can see that around some 0.53 is actually the best cutoff value. So after 0.53, the values are actually decreasing. The F1 score is getting decreasing. So based on that, we are putting a class. If it is greater than 0.53 means the class should be predicted as 1. If it is less than 0.3, the class is predicted as 0. So now we are plotting the confusion metric for the random forest model. So while doing it, you can see that it is almost like okay compared to the previous one. 80,000 only 2,563 customers are actually 2,563 is actually predicted wrong. wrong, then the customer, 2560 customers predicted as leave the company, even though they don't leave. So it's in that like this. So this is, then we are actually doing a classification report. Prestige recall FN score also we are calculating. Kinning and Orgo UAC code accuracy also we are calculating. We are actually collecting all the metrics. You can see that random forest is having a better metrics compared to the logistic regression. So we can use the random forest for our we can use the random forest model for the prediction data set. Okay, before going to that one, you have to find out like what are the important features, which is actually uh, so basically what we are doing is what are the important features which is affecting the churn. So we are actually using this can be found out using the classic random forest model PT series. We are applying the CLF feature imported, and then you can see that one current equipment is monthly in service, percentage charge, percentage change revenues, percentage recurrent charge, monthly minutes, percentage change revenue, monthly revenues. So these are actually the most important features compared to that one. So out of some around some 50 to 52 features, these are the most important features. As I previously said, like the prediction data from prediction data set is already cleaned up, so we don't need to clean up here. So basically we already added the future file, we are already created the variables, we already scaled it up, and we already dropped out the which we cannot be able to handle it, rows which cannot able to handle it. So the remaining ones we are trying to predict. So basically 90,256 rows we are planning to predict churn value for this 90,256 rows. So what we are doing is like we are predicting the we are trying to get a probability using the random forest model. So you can see this one now. So again you are entering a 0.53. I'll run it from the beginning. Okay, it's cannot able to use float. Rajan. Oh. Not a problem. I can use 0 only. Not sure about it. So we are predicting it, and while predicting it, we are putting that value, probability value, in the churn column. After that one, if it is churn value is greater than 5.3 means we are saying that it is 1. If it is less than 5.3 means it is 0, which means that yes means that the customer, we are predicting that the customer may leave the telecom company. 0 means the customer would be retained in the telecom company. That's what's predicted. So from according to this prediction, out of 19,256 customer, 13,556 customer would be retained. The model is predicting that 13,556 customer would be won't leave the company. 5,740 customers would be may leave the company. So we'll try to find out who are all that persons. I think it would be better to, instead of like dropping the customer's ID, we can save the customer's ID for purpose. I forgot to do this one. Let me check. So we do one by one now. we removed the customer ID in the prediction data set. Now we're adding it back. I hope that it's having everything. So now it would be, so basically previously it's 89 column, now it's having a 19 column. Let's check. So customer IDs are mentioned now, added at the end now. So you can see that we said like previously, like it is predicted that 5,743 customers can leave the telecom company. Who are the customers? We are able to list out the customer IDs now. So these are the customers may leave the telecom company as per this prediction.